Make sure you're hot. Microphones are hot. Everything's live.
I have to make sure that everything's working really
Absolutely.
well because I'm sitting here with one of my favorite inkers, Randy Emberlin. The first one is about this issue right here.
Okay, so the anniversary, 30th anniversary.
This book is cool because it has a number of different people who were part of it. It's the first appearance of Spidey 2099 too. A lot of people don't know about that.
Forgot about that.
But I want to talk to you about this.
Yeah, the big
This right
pinup,
here.
right?
This has a story, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, it. I mean, for one thing, Bagley says it's. This is he would back me up on this. I think he gave it to his daughter. I'm not sure, but he said it's the only thing that she'll hang in her house of his work.
No kidding.
Yeah, it's the only one. So and it's iconic because it is the 30th anniversary, and that whole thing that year was pretty massive. All those issues that came out, all of those were big. So it was a very busy year. It was pretty stressful actually. I mean, there was a lot of deadlines, and he actually did too much. I mean, he got shingles because of that, because of the stress. So it was a very stressful year. We did well at the bank, but and the book sold, but it was rough. It's just been around forever. Marvel sent me the printer's proof of that for some reason, and I never knew why. And and so I kept it. It's like it's been something I've had for a long time. It was cool. I mean, it's just a printer's proof. So it's always been an iconic piece. I've got a picture of Stan from this is from 25 years ago in San Diego. So there he is. There he is holding it at a restaurant, and we talked about it, And then Stan and I. That was back when you could see Stan in the aisles and go out and talk with him, and just go, hey, I'm on the book and blah blah blah. It's like Stan was so funny. It's like you could compliment him and talk to him for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and at the end he'd have a joke, of some kind. He'd go like, "Oh, I wondered who was supporting me all those years." It's like thanks, Stan. But I got invited to a lot of parties, and when Jack Kirby was alive, even his birthday parties, and Stan was there. And so, as the years went on, I didn't get to see him that much. I mean, he'd be at shows, but he was lines of people, and everybody's busy. So when I went to Calgary in about 3 years ago, this picture, I knew that I was going to be there with Stan, so I asked if I could have time with him, and so I took this photograph along to show him, to remind him, and then and I took the art print along, and he remembered that, and his vision was pretty bad, at the time, but I told him I was working on the book, and he knew enough. He says, let's take another picture with it, and he asked about my family, and so I got about 10 minutes with Stan Lee, and we took a picture, and I knew it was probably going to be the last time, that I saw him. So I thought it was good closure for me, for all of those. I mean, I discovered Marvel when I was in third grade, so back in 62 probably, or 63, and then here he is, 93, and it was a good thing to do. And so it is a picture that has lasted over the years. It's kind of hung around. Everybody knows it. I mean, it's one of the ones I always take with me.
Absolutely. Iconic. What a
great,
it is memorable story.
Yeah, and Carnage was good to me. We created Carnage, so that was good. And Venom, of course, was already a big deal. So between the two, all of those series, Maximum, Carnage, and the Carnage Venom stuff, and all of that, it's been very successful.
One of my all-time favorite villains is Carnage.
Right.
And I think Carnage gets kind of a bad rep because a lot of people associate him as just another villain to compensate for the fact that Venom was going off to do his own thing. I mean, he was popular. McFarlane did a great job.
Yeah.
What I liked about Carnage was the way the symbiote moved on him.
Yeah, right.
Can you maybe share a little bit about how that came to be?
Well, it was definitely at the same time as the Terminator 2 movie with Arnie, when he was at the peak of his game. And the T-1000 was one of those, the cool robot that had the liquid metal. Yeah, and he had the spikes, and he was creepy, and and he was a good inspiration actually for Carnage. So, and that was just one of the things that played into creating Carnage, was that. Yeah, I think it would tell you that. You have to talk to Michelini about all of it to see where some of his other ideas came from. But being a serial killer, probably that's makes him even scarier. So that's pretty weird.
All right, one last comic book I brought to chat with you about, because you mentioned Spider-Man. This one right here, ASM 375.
Which came out the same year. I don't know how many months later. What is it? So 10 issues.
10 issues,
So
just 10
almost,
issues later.
yeah. So
Almost,
and it was just
March
at the
93.
end, right? And that's what they say. But it actually, came out in that same year because I got the royalties for these in the same year. So it's true. You get them like by that time. I think it was 6 months later. All I know is that they came in the same year. And it was like a big deal. And this one sold like 1.2 or 1.3 million. That one sold about 1 million. So between the two of them, they sold a lot of comic books. Yeah.
Absolutely. What I like about this one is that this essentially serves as the prequel to Venom Lethal Protector.
Oh, okay.
You know, I like to call it issue 0 because it's at the end of this one that Venom and Spidey make a deal to kind of go their separate ways and not kill each other.
Right.
So essentially this is when Venom becomes an anti-hero.
Right.
And then goes on to become what we grow to love.
Okay. And I was supposed to do Lethal Protector.
Were you really?
Yeah, they wanted me to, and Bagley saw what I was inking in this, and he wanted me to ink Lethal Protector because I was using a brush to ink all this stuff. And it just, I wanted to do it, but there was just too much pressure, and I was working on this. So to work on two things at that time, it would have been good financially, but it wouldn't have been good artistically, so I said no. And I can't remember whether I actually inked on a page or two of it, but I think Sam De La Rosa did most of it. So, but yeah, anyway, so it's one of those, maybe I should have done it, I don't know.
Would you do me the honor of signing both my copies?
Sure, why
That'd
not?
be great.
Let's do that. Yeah.
And I'm gonna ask the comic fam just to comment down below. We're gonna be giving these away. So just let us know in the comment section what your favorite Spidey cover is. What's your favorite Spidey villain? 2 of you, we're gonna get 1 copy of each of these. I like that you know to do the little smear trick.
Yeah, well, on that kind of a surface, you have to actually create friction to heat it up.
Sure.
And then it's lacquer that's in this stuff.
You know what? I should have you do the inside of this one.
Okay, I mean,
Yeah.
I can do both.
If you don't mind.
No, I like to do
think
both.
that would be cool.
I'll do both.
I'll have you do both. That would be amazing.
Yeah, I know,
But this
I do
is,
both.
I feel it's wrong not to have this.
Oh, I know. It's
You know what I
I
mean?
do it anyway. Usually people forget about it, that they don't even know it's in here. And I go, hey, I'm happy to sign it. In fact, before you close it, let's do this. Let's put a Post-it note on it. Oh, I don't want to do that. Grab that yellow Post-it note. And then we'll just do this. Do the famous. And I always do this too, since this is a major, this is like a big deal. Here's my name, so it's like,
Hey.
get it signed 3 times. And here's what I'm working on, so.
Look at that.
Thanks. All
I'm
right,
looking.
yeah, that's
When's the
good.
next time you're doing the art school, the art class?
The camps begin July 8th,
Okay.
and they go to the end of July, pretty much. It's last 3 weeks of July. Put an action shot of him, but get John Coop in there. He's very important. Which ones do we do first? Which drawings? Nico.
1, 6, 7, and 12.
That summertime's a good time to do more advanced work, and you can do 4 days of an intense camp where kids can learn about comic books and they can learn about animation, the principles of animation. And I like the age group of from about 3rd grade to 8th grade. High school kids are great, but once you get there, you're getting into more advanced stuff. This is like basic principles of drawing, perspective and layout and design. And so we'll do comic book covers in the cartoon or the comic book art camp. And in animation, we use like the old-fashioned zoetrope, which is how the whole film industry started. The persistence of vision used to be a toy, but it's great for learning how to do cycles.
It's the motion of that tree that transforms into some sort of star.
So yeah, it's fun.
I checked out the site and it's like you guys sell out. It seems like pretty dang
Yeah,
quick.
it's been
There's a lot
earlier
of
this
people.
year, before end of school. I mean, that's to be sold out, the camps be closed in mid or before mid-June. It was actually pretty much done by about the 8th or 9th.
Randy.
All right.
Comic fam, thank you so much for watching that video. Really appreciate it. These are actually some of the first interviews I've ever done, so it means a lot if you leave a comment down below. We're gonna be sending out some of these awesome comics. Thanks so much to Randy Emberlin for being so generous. And if you like the t-shirt that I'm repping, you can get that by going to comictom101.store. I made those Mark Jeweler shirts. I'm pretty excited about that. And last but not least, take a look at this video. I interviewed Ron Wilson, the legendary Bronze Age comic artist. Pretty cool.